Hello, today you may want a block handy, but it's not necessary. We're going to start at the back of the mat with the feet right underneath your hips. Today we'll spend most of our time down on the mat, but just take a second here to feel your gentle sway back and forth. And let's rise our arms up overhead, and then we're going to fold forward, diving all the way down, forward fold. Bending one knee and then the other, opening up the hips a little bit. Walking forward into a plank position. You can stay in plank here on the knees or traditional plank and do some scap push-ups if you like, which just means we're retracting and protracting the shoulder blades with a little bit of weight on it. Very quick and done with that one. Moving on, hands and knees. And from here, going to come back into your first downward dog. Allowing your chest to reach to your thighs, bending your knees as much as you need to, and then lowering back down onto the hands and knees. Let's walk forward to the top of our mat. Staying in this tabletop position, tuck your toes, and we'll lift our knees up because we're going to do a bear crawl. So opposite hand and opposite foot should be moving together. That's your bear crawl. So we're just going to go forward and back for 4. So back, 2, 3, and 4, and forward. 3, 2, and 1. Switch. Keeping your bottom down a little lower if you can. I think this is our last run. Nice. Bend the knees, untuck the tail, child's pose, and rest. Slowly drawing yourself up. Let's come back to that tabletop position. Knees right underneath your hips, hands right underneath your shoulders. Cat and cow time. This can be as small or as big as you'd like it. I really like exaggerated cat and cow. It feels really restorative for my spine. Following a few more cycles of breath with our cat and cow. Finishing it out, coming to tabletop, placing your hand behind the back of the head to do a T-spine rotation, which just means thoracic spine. Here, you can keep your hand reaching or keep your hand behind your head, whichever one feels best. On this next one, we'll go ahead and stay up and hold, twisting in the upper body only, and then resetting to do the other side. We twist, reach it up, elbow to elbow, and reach it up. Twisting only in the upper body. Hold here and release. Sit back in child's pose or any other stretch you need for a moment. And then let's reset and come into a forearm plank. And we're just going to hold. Do your best to really feel all the muscles working. Planks are very active poses. Getting the hips in line as best you can with the shoulders and not poking your sits bones to the ceiling. It's your body's attempt to try to take weight off of itself. We're almost there. Just a little longer. And relax. So that was about 35 seconds. Let's sit back into a wide-legged child's pose. I'm tenting my fingers here and adding a little bit of rotation in my shoulder complex. Feels good for me, but it might not for you. Feel free to just chill out. Let's make our way back up to seated position. I'd like you to watch this pose first. So you're going to come into a tabletop short plank. We're getting ready to rotate the lower body. So you're going to rotate and extend one leg opposite arm. And that's what the movement is. You're just in this short plank and then rotating through. Obviously, this takes quite a bit of coordination. So here's a few alternatives before we get started. Twisting the knees to the side and lifting that same arm up. Challenging your stability here. The next one will just be staying in a short plank with the knees raised and doing shoulder taps. Okay, choose your own adventure here. I'll do the sit-throughs, and we're going to do it for 7 on each side, and the last 8 will hold. Transitions should be fairly quick. If you're doing the sit-throughs with me, you can have your bottom actually touch the ground and then lift back up. It might be harder, it might be easier. Challenge yourself in whatever way you'd like. Let's go in for that hold. And switch, hold on the other side. And come back to center, resting for a moment. So from here, we'll bring our feet out in front of us. And if you're not already there, we're going to scoot ourselves toward the front edge of our mat. Hands are behind us. We're going to do a little bit of a crab walk. Opposite arm, opposite hand, and forward, and back. This will be our last forward and back. Walking back, and then this time we'll just walk forward into the center of the mat and settle. It might feel good to hug yourself in toward your knees, spreading the shoulder blades apart. And again, we're going to come back to that crab shape. Bring your hands behind us and then lifting our pelvis. Palm position can be however you want, fingers pointing forward, side, or back. I want you to lift into a full tabletop, feeling a stretch across the upper body and hips. And then as we lower through, we're going to reach our sits bones through with a little bit of space between the mat and our bottom. Again, stretching and extending, using the abdominals to keep our bottom lifted. Reaching through and back up. And this next one we're going to hold here, practice lifting one leg and then the other, going back and forth, pulling in the lower abdominals. And for the last one, we'll try to lift both legs, cracking myself up there, and relax. We'll fold forward. You got to try and fail before we succeed. Taking a rest, rocking side to side if that feels good for you. And then let's come up halfway, flat back, and slowly walk ourselves back up to a seated position, drawing our legs in, grabbing our block, placing it at the top of the mat. Let's tuck our toes, lift up, downward dog, and then walk your feet into your hands. Forward fold. Grab your block if you want it. So here, we'll just try both out so you can see which is best for you. You're going to plant your palms down, and then you're going to try to kick the block. If you're feeling like the amount of compression you're comfortable with allows you to plant your hands down to the floor, give this a shot, trying to kick your wrists. For me, I have lost a little bit of my compression, so the block is best. Do what you like. And it could be raised up by anything. It could be a couch cushion, a block. Also, it could just be that you don't touch the wrist just yet. Here, we're working on contracting the abdominals in an already flexed position, which is rather challenging, so be gentle with yourself. We're going to go ahead and hold that right side in, and then switch, holding the left side in, and relax. Just a full forward fold here, draping over the legs, maybe catching the ankles with your hands, elbows out to side, encouraging a little bit deeper of a stretch. Coming up halfway for a flat back, and exhale, lower. Reach the arms out to the sides and come all the way up, widening the feet while we're standing. We're going to go into that side bend. Coming back up and side. Let's interlace the hands, extending our arms fully straight as we hinge over our wide-legged fold, allowing gravity to open the chest. If you like, you could add a gentle sway if it feels good to you by bending and straightening one leg. Now we'll slowly roll ourselves all the way up, reach our arms up, side bend again. Going from one side to the other. And now we're going to switch the dominant finger. So do what's natural and then undo it and do the other finger in front. Allowing gravity to do most of the work here. Our focus is more on slowing down our breath and allowing our body to settle. Let's release our hands here while still in the forward fold. Grabbing opposite elbows, sway side to side in a ragdoll. Let's release our hands, come up halfway, flat back. Exhale, lower. We'll slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, drawing your feet back underneath you, settling back into your standing body. Thank you so much for joining me.